Everyone ready? Okay, it's 9 o'clock. I will call the meeting to order. We'll start with our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the homeland of the many diverse First Nations and Métis people whose ancestors have walked this land since time immemorial. We're grateful to live, work, learn, and play on the traditional territory of the Treaty 8. Okay, we'll move down to the adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions? I did have one in camera I'd like to add under section 20 personnel. Full disclosure, however we want to. Any other additions? Okay, kind of motion to adopt. Councillor, please, all in favor? Carried. Okay, we have the minutes from our April 24th council meeting. Any additions or changes? Thank you, Mrs. Tupper, for cleaning up the one I had asked about. I just wanted it to be clear that I had declared and left the meeting as a pecuniary interest on the LaPrairie topic. It wasn't captured in the original one. Just so council's aware. Make a motion to accept the minutes. Councillor Beckett makes the motion to adopt those as presented. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Is your whole delegation here? You guys are all here? Okay. Do you guys want to come up to the table? We'll start off. We have a delegation to start off from the Holy Family School Division. Wasn't sure if Kelly was coming in.
No, yeah, I didn't know, just be, I saw the list, there's like 5 and it's just the 2 of us.
Didn't want to cut anybody.
Drop them like flies.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll maybe start with just some quick introductions and then you guys can introduce yourself and I'll turn the floor over. We'll start at that end.
Morning, Brent Reese, Deadwood Sunny Valley, welcome.
Teresa Tupper, Executive Assistant and Recording Secretary.
Caitlin Shug, I'm acting deputy Reeve today, but I represent Morrisville, Lockhart, now in Ward 2.
Lori Deccan, Ward 5, North Star Breaking Point. Good morning.
Morning, Brenda Usinski, Dixonville, Shute Valley.
Morning, Gary Days, Warville.
Speaking.
And I'm Garrett Stickle, I'm the CIO.
And Mike technician on the side.
That's the job you're looking for.
No, I don't want that.
And I'm Victoria Cornick, Superintendent of Holy Family School Division.
And I'm Mike Connell, I'm the trustee for Manning Park Pavilion for the Holy Family Catholic School Division. On behalf of the school division, I'd like to thank everyone for having us here. We just like to do a little presentation, kind of telling you guys kind of who we are, what we do, kind of give you an update on what's going on. We try to engage with municipalities every term. And since the municipal elections, well, not much has changed here. And I think we only have one new trustee in our board. Okay, I'll get started. As part of our trustee governance mandate, our intent is to engage students and their families, staff, and community members, which we serve in an ongoing implementation of a shared vision for student success. This is in part achieved by an ongoing participation with our schools through their student engagement teams, parent school councils, parish pastoral councils, and now today with our County of Northern Lights Council. Ideally, our Board of Trustees would like to engage at least once every 4-year term with councils. Our purpose and intent of today's presentation, we would like to first provide you with an overview of our Holy Family Catholic Regional Division and express the value of our schools and our schools have to the families and community members we serve residing in this local area. Secondly, we hope to create opportunities of collaboration with municipal councils in support of the viability and sustainability of small rural school divisions like ours for the betterment of family and community life now and into the future.
Actually, who's doing?
She said.
Oh, it's the slide before that.
Yeah, Board of Trustees.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just go over the trustees that we currently have. We have Kelly Whalen for Peace River Nampa. He's also our board chair. John Curran for that same area, and he is our vice chair. We have Leon Cox in Ward 1 High Prairie, Victoria Patrick Barkhouse in Ward 2 McLennan, John Michael Posniak is Ward 3 Valley View, myself, Mike Connell, Ward 4 Manning Park Vermilion, John Williamson is Ward 5 Grimshaw, and he is our only new trustee this year. The incumbent trustee actually retired, moved away, and John moved there from Ontario, where he was a Catholic school trustee for the last 25 years. So we got a lot of really good experience that just happened to move in at the right time.
Yeah.
And we have Jessica Richard in Ward 7 Fairview. Fairview is new to our school division. They joined officially last year. So Jessica has been with us for a year already and made it through the municipal elections. And STM in Fairview was part of Grand Prairie Catholic Regional Division, and they opted to join our school division. So now they're part of our family. Pass it over to Victoria.
The next slide. So with our central office, we have, so as I introduce myself, I'm superintendent, and then I have a deputy superintendent, Lori Goudreau, who's from the born and raised Peace River, and then Zachary Silva is our secretary treasurer. He's been with us now for a few years. And we have 30 employees at central office in Peace River. And we have many different departments, from executive assistance, faith and wellness, educational supports, Indigenous supports, human resources, and finance. Move to the next slide. And then as part of our school division, we have 8 different schools. At this time, we have Rosary, which you know, a K-9 school here in Manning, Holy Family in Grimshaw, another K-9, STM, like Mike just talked about, is a K-12 school review. We have Good Shepherd School in Peace River, K-6, that also has a French immersion program, along with Glen Mary, 7-12. Again, we have a French immersion program there. And then Equal Providence is currently in our school division, but as you may have heard, that it's closing at this end of this year. And then St. Andrews, a K-12 in High Prairie, and St. Stephen's is a K-9 in Valley View. Then we have a Cyber High. And so what Cyber High currently, it used to be more of an online school where throughout the province, students could take courses. Now it's mostly for our 3 high schools to be able to do joint programming and to be able to offer more options, because they're all small high schools. Even our Glen Mary is still considered a small high school. So to be able to offer joint programming, we do it through our Cyber High. And so we have approximately 1,850 students with about 480 staff altogether.
How many students are there in Manning?
In Manning, I want to say
I think we're around 70.
Yeah. No, 70,
70.
just 70. I started to say 100, but yeah, 70 now.
And I'll highlight the importance of Catholic education. Respecting parental rights, educational choice honors parents as the primary educators of their children and ensures families can select learning environments aligned with their values and beliefs. Forming the whole person. Catholic education nurtures intellectual growth, spiritual development, moral responsibility, and a commitment to service. And strengthening communities. Catholic schools contribute to the civic, cultural, and social vitality of the community while promoting compassion, leadership, and the common good. And just to add to that, we have a large part of our population at Rosary School that is actually not Catholic. And parents often choose that because they like the values that the Catholic education brings, and the moral values and all of that, not necessarily just the religious aspect.
Which I'll kind of add on to with the Alberta Assurance Plan, assurance model. So Alberta Ed has an assurance model for its stakeholders for us to assure the stakeholders that we are meeting the needs of the greater good of of the students, of families, of society. And so there's a couple aspects to this, couple components, and one of them is a survey that goes out to students, staff, and parents. Depending on the size of the school, if it's a bigger school, it can be grades 4, 7, and 10. And if it's a smaller school, it's grade 4 and up that takes these surveys, including the parents. And so there could be up to 10 questions for each of these domains. And then we get a report with how the questions are answered and where we fall in compared to the rest of the province. And each school is also compared to the province. But as a division in each of our pillars, which we call the soft domains, because the other ones are the academic, but the ones where parents, teachers, and students are using their opinions about our school division, we have rated higher than the rest of the province as a division. So citizenship, we are higher. Welcoming, caring, respectful, safe learning environments, we ranked a little higher. Access to supports and services, parental involvement, education quality, and work preparation. In each of those domains, we've ranked higher than the provincial average. So we're very proud of that, especially as a Catholic school division.
Okay, now I'll do a little focus on Rosary here. We have 7 full-time teachers, 10 support staff, with 17 total staff. What the school has to offer: loving, caring, and supportive faith-filled school environment guided by Christ, strong partnership between school, family, and parish, educational assistance, Indigenous supports and wellness workers. Programs include foods, art, robotics, small engines, and athletics. And Rosary has an Edwin Parr Award winner for excellence in teaching as a first-year teacher, and a recipient of the Excellence in Catholic Teaching Award.
So I'm not sure if you know what the Edwin Parr award is. Now I'm realizing. The Edwin Parr is for first-year teachers. So each division gets to nominate someone, and then as a zone, so Northern Alberta, there's a winner from each zone, and Rosary has an award winner, not just a nominated, which is also, even being nominated is an accomplishment for sure, but a winner it doesn't happen very often, so it's quite exciting.
All right, we'll move on to some testimonials. We'll start off with our very own Josh Hunter. He said the teachers and staff pushed and challenged me in a good way, and that has helped me succeed in my career in life. So we'll take all the credit for the good stuff. All the bad stuff we'll blame on
It's high school.
Yeah. And just a side note about Josh, he's actually a member at large on our board. A few years ago, the provincial government mandated that we had to have at least 2 members with an accounting background as part of our board. So we got Josh as one, and we got a new one in Peace River.
Yes,
Forget his name.
Frank Light.
Yeah, so they kind of join our audit and finance committees and kind of double check our numbers. They know a little bit more about dollars and cents than we do. And second, we have Kelly Reinders, and she said, I could always be myself at Rosary School. Ultimately, there was a kindness spread throughout the school, which I started to replicate in my business and my life today. And she is now the owners of Reinders Law, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with. Okay, move on to connections with the community. Rosary students actively serve Manning through senior visits, church and hospital volunteering, youth programs, local animal rescue support, and supporting the No Stone Left Alone initiative with the Legion. The No Stone Left Alone initiative, I was actually a part of that in the fall. What it is they take the junior high students from Rosary. This year we went to the Catholic cemetery, and we met Bernie Fedorowicz there, and he actually kind of gave a tour of the cemetery, giving like a brief summary of the lives of all the veterans that are buried there. So it was kind of nice for the students to see how many veterans there were in Manning, but also to kind of get to know who they were. And then they left commemorative stones at each grave as well. And that's something we plan on continuing into the future. The plan is to go around to the other different cemeteries in the area. I didn't realize how many we had until Bernie pointed out. I think there's like 5 or 6 or something. Rosary provides space for the out-of-school care program during the school year and summer, supporting local families with safe, reliable care. Each Christmas, students and staff collect donations to support local families through the Dodge Hunger Food Bank campaign. Rosary students with FCSS to host the intergenerational walking program, promoting wellness and community connection. In collaboration with AHS, the school supports mental health initiatives and hosts the annual Walk into the Light Suicide Awareness Walk. The gym and school spaces are shared with community groups for sports, recreation, and local events. And local businesses partner with the school to provide students with nutritious meal options. I also like to highlight the gym at Rosary. It's a favorite among people who like to rent out gyms just for casual volleyball, basketball. It's rented out several times a week. Kind of thought with the new school coming that they might migrate there, but most of them stuck with the Rosary gym. They really like it, and it's a really big part of the recreational community here. And that concludes our presentation. Is there any questions or concerns from council about Rosary or Catholic education in general, or life in general?
Thank you. I'll turn it over to council. Are there any questions?
What do you see as far as challenges going forward for that uncertain future? More, you're going with everything possible more.
I would say rural education in general is something that is definitely a concern when it comes to, like you said, the cost of living and the cost for everything, and then making sure that we have students in our schools. We went to a rural education symposium in February, I think that was early March, and just hear everyone has very similar concerns. So trying to figure out how to be creative and partnerships to be able to work together on things, because going solo is just going to be not the demise, but I don't think it can be sustainable. And so like, it was very heartbreaking to have to do that with Equal Providence in McLennan. However, we just financially can't sustain it. And so coming up with ways that we can advocate together, and we plan to bring back as a board to brainstorm ways that maybe we can do follow-up with councils, if you guys are interested, as well as what could be some things that you guys could do to help advocate for rural education. Because transportation, the amount of money that we get, it's just not working for us in small areas.
And that's actually a huge concern. Our rural caucus that you spoke about, it's similar to your RMA, where we kind of pool our resources, meet with participants from all over the province, and try to focus our advocacy toward the government as a rural body. Because like you guys, we're overshadowed by the huge municipalities. I mean, if you look at the student populations of Calgary and Edmonton, I put those together, they're bigger than all the rural put together by a lot. Also, speaking of RMA, it kind of coincided with our AGMs in November. So our board chair was actually present during the RMA. I was there as well. And we went to the Finning Hospitality Suite, and me and him kind of talked to a lot of different municipal leaders from across Alberta about municipal things and education things and fire department things, all kinds of things. I think hopefully having those together, it could promote a lot of collaboration between municipalities and education. Really good timing.
Yeah, it was called a rural caucus.
Yeah, rural caucus.
So my question is, so what would the student count be before you start doing the viability study? What's your?
So there's a policy where you need to have, there's within 3 grade levels, a certain number of students, but we're not there yet. Yeah. hopefully ever. I shouldn't say yet. We're not there, period.
And I point out the meetings that right now is not normal times. I mean, with that new school opening, that kind of
Yes.
made the numbers shoot down, and it's gonna take a few years for them to really normalize again.
For it to balance out when, you know, it's a shiny new thing and whether or not they come back
Yeah.
for Catholic education. Yeah, I just want to point out one more thing about the rural education symposium. They also include Spruce Grove as rural areas, which I think Spruce Grove is very different than here in northern Alberta. So even, you know, advocating for we're different and we require different supports for our education. So yeah, I was astonished when I found out they were rural communities.
This choir knows all about that.
Okay, yeah, I don't need it, okay.
There's confusion about what north is and what rural is, for
Yes.
sure.
Just because
Yeah.
you're north of Edmonton or north of Calgary, it's not northern Alberta.
Yeah, just trying to compete with the media headlines. I mean, all you see in the media is overcrowded schools in Calgary and Edmonton, whereas the rural schools are having complete opposite
Yes.
problems.
With the call comments, what were your numbers like there and where will this?
So-
be going?
So there were 32 students, K-8 for September 30th. And so we will be offering transportation because they are entitled to Catholic education. And so they will be offered transportation to St. Andrews in High Prairie. And
Most of
it depends on the bus route, kilometer wise, or, you know, is direct, I think is like less than 30 minutes, around 30 minutes. But of course, it depends, like if we transport them ourselves versus there was with High Prairie School Division. So that apparently years ago, they tried that for junior high and it went up to, I think, 50 minutes. But if we do it ourselves, looking at, we're about 30 minutes, which is not unlike our other schools and, you know, with say Dixonville or different things that we have in northern Alberta.
McLennan has pretty unique demographics as well. There's a huge French-speaking population there, and of course, a lot of them wanted to go to the French schools, so the amount of students is divided among French and English, public, Catholic. They're kind of spread thin everywhere there, so.
And there's not when we looked at the census, we're only looking at around 80 students for a K-8 in the area. So then when you take out the Francophone and you take out people who want to go for public education, then our pool is not very large there either.
Any other questions, council?
Okay.
Okay, well, thanks for coming. It was great to meet you.
Yes, it was very nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Safe travels. Enjoy the sunshine out there.
Yes. From inside, consider
Yeah.
that.
I'll get right back in the ditches.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Those copies are also.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I said. I hadn't met you, like, I weren't able to make it to this meeting, but we'll see each other.
Yeah, I'll talk to Zach and he said everything. That's just terrific. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to policies and bylaws under section 5.0. Start with number 1, council donation and grants policy.
Also good with the lighting or shut down the lights.
That was just so we could see the screen.
If you could pick it on, I would appreciate it. Eyes are good.
Josh, this is yours.
Well, put up.
So,
Good.
Want me to pause?
I'm not actually sure what changed on here.
So you combined, we used to have a donations policy and a grants policy, very similar. So they combined the two to just one, the council donations and grants. I believe she cleaned it up a little bit. Sorry, she was on.
Yeah, I could see that she.
I'm just trying to look.
She-
And to make sure that it's aligned with our rep. She was in her office. I thought she was there.
Okay. Well, we wanna, okay, let's just pause this one, because I was unclear what the changes were as well, so.
And I'm sorry, I wasn't in the last half of your standing committee meeting that day. I was out, so I didn't hear her discuss it with you, so I'm not exactly.
Okay, so we'll figure that one out at a staff level there. We'll jump down to the road maintenance policy instead.
So this one is pretty much the same, except for silk line, driveways come out. Any questions on it? We did include signage in there, because signs weren't included in any policy, so it's a minor thing. The one thing I will note actually is that Schedule A is incorrect. Not really anything that council needs to be concerned about. We will include the typical drawings. Sign installs.
Okay, that was my question. I was like, oh, 2007.
Hey, I sent the wrong one with the.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. it's like, oh. Okay. Okay, did council have any other questions relating to the road maintenance policy? Okay, hearing none, I'll look for a motion to adopt the road maintenance policy as presented.
I'll move.
Okay, Councillor Yazinski. Let's call for questions. Otherwise, all in favor? That is carried. See, there was some communication. Did we get a hold of Trin?
I can just go through it if you like.
I mean,
There's nothing substantial, like Teresa
Yeah.
said, it's consolidated from two previous ones, clean up the definitions. And then just some affirmation on, not double dipping from grant sources, so nothing from the rec board, you're not eligible to approach the council directly. In the general policy, but most of it was just duplication, it's two policies combined into one, so it's.
I just have a question for council on that, it's number 6 on page 16 of my, legacy.
Okay.
Funding request under 10,000. Okay, yeah, if the rec board has dispensed all their allotted funds, then the applicant can bring it to. Okay, that's not.
To council, yeah, so
Yeah,
technically, anything that's under that $10,000 limit, that's program related funding is intended to be sent to the rec boards first. As long as it meets their program requirements, and then council is second. So again, it's affirming that
yeah,
you have to approach the rec boards first. In practice, most people who you guys have come ask you for money don't have time to wait for the rec board, so
That's
they
right.
try and convince administration that it's a panic, so they have to come directly to you. So we may or may not let that through for that reason, but we always in communication try and get them through the rec boards, and most of the time the rec boards are dealing with it through email now anyway, so
Yes,
it's
yeah.
fairly quick.
if it's timely, we will, like the south,
Yeah.
I'm sure the north is the same, we'll deal with it through emails, but, my concern was if the rec board runs out of money, then they can go to council. And I think that may have happened last year with the municipal board.
It happens every single year with us.
And so That seemed a little unfair for the South Rec Board, who we try to stay within our allotment. And, more often than not, don't give the full request because of them. And because really, we could run out of money pretty quick too. And then everything would continue to come here, so I guess it's a budgeting thing. If, are we gonna? It just seems like, okay, so more, the North Rec Board ends up getting more funding. So,
Well, no, the North Rec Board gets less funding.
well, they do, but it's based on population.
Yeah.
So, in fact,
Have we ever had the North and South Rec Boards meet together to discuss, like, so just like, so the right hand knows what the left hand's doing, right? Like, and so that was, we're operating both rec boards in the same fashion, North and South? Like, maybe that's something that we should consider, like, if we're dispersing them in different fashions, North and South, then that creates a disparity between the two, right? So maybe that's something we should look at, just,
yeah, I was just thinking for budgeting wise. Like, I think if the rec board runs out of money and it's a rec and culture thing, that should be the end of it. They look somewhere else for money.
So what does rec and culture mean to you though? Because that's another sticky point, me personally. Right, basically everything that's not capital is getting funneled over to the rec boards and then back to you guys. So it's very broad reaching. You guys can play with that. I don't know if you made this comment yet or not, but you can play with that for household allocation every year in the budget if you want. We just usually don't go into budget looking for ways to increase our spending. It's 10 years I've been here, I don't think that's been an issue once. But that's kind of how we handle that and look at that. We haven't met yet with both rec boards together. Still trying to get together with them to go over terms of reference as well, so it remains a work in progress. But everything was kind of up in the air and discussions happening about a bunch of different things, right? So.
Yeah, well, I just brought that up because I wanted to know what council thought. Like, if they feel it's fine to continue with that.
My feeling is I would like to see the two North and South get together and let's have some symmetry going between the two or something, right? Like, we can't have them both operating completely different from each other when they're supposed to all have the same mandate.
If they don't want to get together for terms of reference, then they wait till they get their money till they have it. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we can.
Well, the South Rec Board doesn't.
They do, but the North doesn't.
Yeah, well, and I think that makes a disparity for the South, right? Because you guys are operating on a terms of reference with one plan and then it's not the same on the other side. And I don't want to bash either one of them. I just feel like we need to have them aligned, like work together.
Like, do we have a policy on its own for the rec boards? Like,
Yes,
The
So with
rec
the-
and culture. policy, yeah.
that's where they're included.
have we gone over that? Have we gone over that already?
We
We've
had
tried to-
discussion about it last year, and then we're still trying to get through some changes. It's because
It's the real
part of
key.
that, it's not just rec board, it's rec boards, hall boards. CCAP, cemetery, like it's a whole bunch of things rolled into one policy. So we have a lot of people to meet with and discussions to have to get through that one.
Brent, you look like you wanted to say something.
Well, no, I agree that it would be nice to see them aligned, because there's two separate entities operating in a different fashion. I know we've discussed this many times, and it continues to be that way. I'm not sure what the solution is.
Maybe a hard line and we actually have to do something about it, right?
Yeah, maybe, if I may, if the council could make a motion for us to have a joint meeting with the two rec boards and council.
Yeah.
And
I think we all need to sing the same song for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody want to, what's the feeling then? Are we okay with this policy? We want to adopt the policy and then we can make a second motion for a meeting, or do you want to hold off on the policy until we have a meeting in case there's changes?
we could hold it off.
I think so.
Do we need,
You can hold it off if we want to,
until we had the meeting
You guys
with
wanna meet with
the two rec boards and council.
You
But
want
that's a
the-
small part
you
of
want the
the,
entire council to meet with the rec board? Like in a council meeting?
I think so.
Okay,
So just a quick note, in the policy included is a new line for promotional item requests. That expedite us making that decision in-house before taking it to council, because we have a limit on that financial limit, so. You would be delaying promotional requests in the meantime. If the council's been on.
Just you can always amend the
Yeah.
policy if you need to in the future.
For sure, yeah, and knowing that fact, then I think that's the right thing to do. So let's go ahead, if council can agree, then let's go ahead and make a motion to approve the council donation and grant policy. And then we'll make a separate motion for that meeting. So does somebody want to make the motion to approve the council donation and grants policy as presented?
I could.
Okay, Councillor, please. All in favor? Okay, that's carried. Okay, now we'll look for a second motion to have, I don't know if we wanna have it at a council meeting, but maybe set a meeting with the north and south rec boards and council. I don't think a council meeting is an appropriate place to put everybody on the spot, but we could have a meeting and bring that back. Somebody prepared to make that motion? Okay, Councillor Reese. You just let me know when you're ready. I can't see you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out your. So reading this. To request a meeting with the recreation board. Like the whole board or their chairs.
No, the whole boards, because I mean, I think
Yeah,
part of that discussion will be the terms of reference and those stuff,
Yeah.
so.
I think everybody should
I
have a
think the
say.
whole board, because there's only, four people.
Yeah.
I agree.
Both words, not.
Both
Yeah,
boards,
and we got both boards on there, yeah.
Yeah, north and south recreation.
The evening,
It could also be a virtual one if some of them are not available, but yeah.
Okay. Council clear on the motion?
You want to be at least so.
Moved by Councillor Reese to have administration request a meeting with the north and south recreation boards with council.
Okay, everybody clear on that? All in favor? It's carried. Now they're ready notes, guys? Okay, so we'll move on to 5.C, proposed bylaw, also known as the property tax bylaw. Josh, hot potato.
What's this number? Am I gonna be allowed to share my screen? And it'll take me just 1 minute to get set up, so if anyone needs a coffee, would be a good time. Okay, so I think most of you have been through this process with me before, so what you've got in your package is a copy of the bylaw, which actually just sees mill rates held the same. And then I have a tool or a template that we can utilize if council wants to deviate from that and make any changes or see the impacts of any changes. Sharing is not turned on, Mrs. Tupper. Sent to you. I need you to let me share. Okay, good. So we'll just rip through the bylaw first here, and then I can jump to the tool if that works. So as far as changes of the bylaw, they're very copy and paste year over year for the most part. So bylaw number obviously has changed. We are now in tax year 2026, assessment year 2025. There's always a year difference. So nothing's changed in the first three whereas clauses. Down in the fourth one, this is where we break down the different reasons money is required. So municipal operating expenses has been updated. Debt principal repayments, capital expenses, those are all very much the same.
Sorry, John, are you still sharing?
It shows I am, yeah. Move your zoom to the other screen, Teresa. Maybe. What do you get? Do you guys see it?
We can see it now.
Okay.
That's the bylaw. Did you want?
Yeah,
something else?
no, that's what I'm talking to right now. Make it bigger. So just running through the fourth whereas clause on the bylaw, all of the numbers that have changed. Two important changes to note here. The first being the Alberta School Foundation Fund requisition. There's a note there with a little asterisk just saying that is the amount net of the over levy adjustment related to the 3 years of appeals. So just the distinction to have it in there so that we know why it doesn't agree to their actual invoices. And the second one,
Just before we go too far, but the school one, they have a formula to adjust it real time, what if it's different, right? Like if we get that assessment appeal, they will go back and correct it plus or minus?
they will, definitely not real time.
No, that was a bad, okay, I take that
Yeah.
back, don't put that on. the
No, so it's, yeah, there is. The adjustments from all of the appeals have been captured in this.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
unlike the
on
normal
both
thing, if
sides.
there's a variance, they will fix it with a formula.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And as will the DIP requisition, that's the other one. They're actually the best at it. It happens seamlessly. It's also the least amount of money though.
Well, it's important to know, right?
Yeah. So the second change, and this is new this year, so the budget that we passed last year had a few changes that occurred during the meeting as we were there. So it actually reduced the net budget a little bit, which I told Gerhard right after it's cool because everything I said to you was off slightly. So the actual operating expenses and capital expenses, our total net cash requirements are actually slightly less. And as well, when I gave you the so I do make mistakes too. When I gave you the proposed mill rate increase based on that, I hadn't updated the numbers to last year's tax rate bylaw. It was the year before. So that was skewed a little bit as well. So this has all been fixed now as I worked through the bylaw. And what we found is actually holding the mill rates is already in excess of what you require. So the way we look at that is that allows us, especially knowing that we have things like an airport overlay and some very large bridge and road projects coming up. It sees the need to add this other line in here called reserve allocations for future capital projects. So what that means is holding your mill rates the same would bring in that much more, except we're putting that aside for those projects that are coming up in the next 2 or 3 years. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Minimum tax, I have not looked at proposing a change to you guys in this one. It's so still set at $50 per parcel. We had some changes to what is a parcel based on the decision with the grazing leases. It would actually be nice to see what that does as far as a change once we levy our taxes this year, because I do not have access to a good, clean report that can just show me every property that's subject to that. So it's about 3 days worth of computer work that I did not have available to me to do yet. So the system provider Sylogist is working on one. They didn't have it ready for this year. So hoping to be able to do that similar to the fashion that we'll walk through this, where we can make changes, have a report that's similar to see what the impacts are if our minimum levy is 50 or 75 or 100 or whatever.
So looking at keeping it at 50 for this.
Yeah, and or you can make a change. I just can't tell you what the difference in taxes is gonna be. It's not significant to your budget at the end of the day. The rest of the bylaw pretty much remains unchanged. Everything's defined as it is in the Municipal Government Act. We split our assessment classes into just the 5 majors. We don't have any subclasses defined. So then going down, we have to show the mill rates for all of the different requisitioning bodies as well as our general municipal. So as I mentioned, the mill rates that are in here for municipal are the same as they were last year, so they remain unchanged at this point in time. The requisition amounts all have changed slightly based on the calculations that are done every year. And the designated industrial property requisition, they give you a mill rate based on their calculations. That's what you levy, and then they just handle any over or under payment on their end as a credit on the next year's invoice. And then here for 3 readings today. So also included in your package, and for the guys in the back, there's one, this is just a snapshot of what my worksheet looks like to do these calculations. And then I have the ability to just work in percentage changes or mill rate increases and show you a difference. So again, kind of stopped this when I get to the point of we can leave mill rates the same. And it's actually beneficial because we have a few very large projects looming. So kind of 2 birds, 1 stone from positives there. You're saving for the future and not increasing your mill rates, even though inflation is still fairly substantial.
Josh, I want to thank you for all the effort you put into this.
Yep.
And as well as Charles, with all the budgeting, I think council can see that we put a lot of effort into this, and we try to keep the cost as low as possible, even with our staff complement. I think we are doing really well with a very small staff complement. And I just want to thank you guys there.
Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Yes.
Almost like it's what you pay us. Happy to do it. This is actually somewhat finance related, so these are the things I enjoy doing.
Anything
As
else?
much, yeah. So yeah, again, I do have the ability to work out any changes that you may see in the templates. Oh, sorry, I'm sharing the wrong screen now. So the way I design this is a second here to catch up.
Just choose the tab to view, but what tab?
I think it was under Josh's screen is where it was hiding. Jump to his tab, which is where it was last time.
Get bigger so you can see it. All right, so all we do, it's a lot of numbers, but it's actually quite simple. And the total money we need to raise from taxes is here, and that's for municipal purposes. So that's our debt repayments, operating budget, portions of capital projects that we're funding through taxation. We have all of our assessment values that are given to us from our assessor. Proposed mill rates pulling from down here based on what we're changing, and that shoots out our tax revenue. So it just totals, and then the highlighted yellow cell is the difference. And then if we want to see how much more money anything makes, we just keep that number as a baseline. And then just to show you, because one of the common questions is, well, how much more money do we get if we raise mill rates by 1%? So if we do that, it brings an extra $195,736, right?
Is there any appetite from council to see some different scenarios, or are we happy with the no change? I guess it's fun to play around, but we're not gonna change it. Let's use our time wisely.
When I was looking at it, I was thinking, like a small increase to it, for inflation. And also, we have a long list of bridge and road infrastructure that needs to be worked on, and maybe, if we like did a 2%, that might be enough to do one of those projects that we don't get funding for. But I know he likes to raise taxes.
Yeah.
That's just a suggestion.
So a few comments. You've also seen, hopefully in your packages, the financial statements. So the recommendation for that one is going to see a reallocation of some money into various reserves with that assumption as well. So there's a recommendation to put that specifically into the airport, the fire, the bridge. And I think there was one more, and the water expansion reserve. Yeah, just to kind of start building up money to do projects in those areas. So that's one thing. So you are going to have a little bit of money available specific to those items. The only other thing, a lot of municipalities around the province will look at tax rate increases kind of comparable to inflation, unless they have any big assessment swings. We do have kind of an assessment normalization again this year. However, the inflationary increase to your mill rates, you guys would be bringing in an extra, and I say extra, but you'd be saving over what you're spending, like $860,000 at that point. So just a point to mention. So it's depending on how that's communicated, it can be viewed as either positive or negative, I guess.
So what would that say, like that 2% translate to ratepayers, how much?
Every ratepayer is different, but like,
Really,
yeah,
but
what, $300,000 house? Yep. And remember, this is only municipal, right? We've got their other,
I
yeah,
was just gonna say, we have to keep in mind that they're already gonna see an increase because of the provincial requisition for education, right? Like they're already gonna feel it now without our touch, right?
Yeah, and like it's unusual for us.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, that absolutely.
So on a $300,000 home, a 2% increase is just shy of $40 a year from a municipal standpoint. But they will see a jump on their,
Because, you know, the education went up significantly.
but the education budget did, but the mill rates for your residential and farmland are only up 1.6%. The problem there is your residential assessed value seems to just climb every year. So you're getting hit in a couple different ways. You're getting hit with the incremental value of your property plus any increases to any of the rates. So it's kind of compounding.
Assessment, residential assessment has changed year over year of last year.
What is the residential change? Yep.
So it did go up.
The residential, yeah, I talked about this, I think in a previous meeting, but it was a while ago now. So year over year change residential assessment was 14.7% or 2.9 million, or sorry, difference in dollars. $27.18 million. Which is cool if we build 60 new homes, but that did not happen. I think we had 13 that would have been viewed as additional homes as a net, because we had some new builds.
Percentage increase.
14.7.
Increase.
Yeah. So I highlight that comment just to speak to incremental value on everything that's already existing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, people could view that as an increase in.
It's,
You know.
It ultimately is-
Rate, but it's, you know, the
Yeah.
increase in tax rates.
and it ultimately is an increase inflationary factor to you unless you take advantage of it and sell it, right? But
Okay. Any other questions? Are we ready to start looking at a motion? Where's council at?
I'd like to keep it as is. At this point, I recognize it nice to have a little extra, but I think. Let's recognize that administration did a good job holding the line here, and I think it'll be appreciated by some, but not by all.
Well, and I think we have to consider, right, like they're gonna open their tax notice and it's gonna go up regardless of what we do to it. So I think I'm in favor too of holding it the same. I think kudos to admin for holding the line for us and. It's my feeling too.
I'd like to make the motion, what's the anything to say that we keep it?
Okay, so it'll be the first reading for the bylaw, right? We're gonna break that down. Right, Mrs. Colby?
Yes.
Okay, okay, so we have Councillor Decken moving for reading, first reading. Let's call for questions, otherwise, all in favor? Opposed? Everybody's good. Okay, that motion's carried. Get a motion for second reading. Okay, Councillor Reese. All in favor? Motion's carried.
The next one is to proceed to third and final, and it has to be unanimous.
Okay, a motion to proceed to third and final reading. Okay, Councillor T. Giving you, yeah,
With all, with everybody missing, is there enough for that?
we have.
Or-
Yeah. Okay, so Councillor T's made the motion to proceed to third and final reading. All in favor? That's carried.
Yeah.
And now we need a third and final, right? Like, okay, all right, so third and final. Okay, Councillor Kuzinski. All right, all in favor? Okay, that is carried.
thank you, council.
Yes. Okay, we want to move on. We'd like a couple minute break. Couple-minute break.
My
Okay.
coffee's empty.
We'll have a 5-10 minute recess, see how fast we can get back. Race.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the mic here today, council, but it looks like maybe it's a good thing we just got both.
Yeah, probably right.
Let Dan hit his go button. Okay. All right, so we'll get back at it. So we are down to 6.1.1, number A, RMA breakout session proposal. So I don't know if we have something specific to speaking to it, but it looks pretty self-explanatory here. Does any council have any suggestions for what would be some good breakout session proposals, or do we want to accept it for information?
I went through one early on when I first got elected. It's one of the best ones I ever went through. It was on ethics. And on how money gets wasted in organizations. It was really instructive. And something I'd like to see again.
Did they have it at RMA previously?
Well, I was the only one that I recall. That was early on when I first got elected.
I was just wondering, maybe RMA would have it on file, right? Or-
They probably, it was put on by main speaker was talk from the city of Calgary. It was an interesting presentation.
Okay.
And he said, he maintained every organization on average, loses 5% of their budget through misappropriation. Anyway, it was I thought it was one better, maybe the best presentation I've seen. But anyway, I just throw that out there.
Okay, I did have, another suggestion. I thought maybe something related to housing management bodies and how they operate in the province. I think there's a lot of confusion between municipal politics and housing management bodies, so that was the other one. And I know we talked about it at our Northeast Housing Strategic Plan over the weekend. I think there's some gray area because they all operate independently of each other, right? So there's some confusion there. Any other suggestions or ideas?
You have a deadline, it's to help them to simple concern. Was there a there? We didn't have time to think.
It was a really good presentation of the ag service board on Avon. It's really.
I think we're probably gonna start seeing
Yeah.
those flood into the things, right? Like,
They already helped out.
yeah, like I think that's gonna be just a lot button thing for sure, but we can include it in the, so AI information, like, did it relate to, like, just in general, or was it specific to?
It was kind of all over the place, like how you could use it personally, how you could use it in your business, or maybe use it in government.
Okay, so we could maybe add, AI data, education and information. Specific ones?
It's also, if I might change.
Yeah.
Proposals are welcome on an ongoing basis and will be considered by the.
Very
RMA,
good, yeah,
just so
that's
you
good.
can add it on.
Yeah.
Going.
Can't pick my finger off that seven finger on it.
Yeah.
My co-chair, my co-chair. Okay, any other suggestions? Otherwise, I'll get a motion to acknowledge receipt of the breakout session proposals and authorize administration to send a suggestion of ethics, misappropriation, AI data education information, housing management bodies for breakout sessions to the RMA for their fall convention.
Make that motion.
Okay, Councillor Deacon. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, we'll move on to 6.1.1B. Council's summer schedule. So as per your agenda package, administration is suggesting that we cancel the Tuesday, July 28th and the Tuesday, August 25th meeting, which I think aligns with generally we cancel one meeting each month in the summer.
Yeah.
If there's any other further questions or considerations that would like to be brought forward, otherwise I'd look for a motion to cancel the July 28th and August 25th meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Councillor Deacon, last call for questions, comments, consideration,
Councillor Yusinski.
or Councillor
That's
Zinsky,
fine.
sorry, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote, all in favor? Carried.
Only Yusinski once in a while.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'll call you soon. All right, moving on to 6.1.1, item C, the local home hardware grand opening invitation. So as per the package, they are having their grand opening event on Thursday, May 7th at 11 a.m. and they are looking for representation, I think, right? Or invitation to send?
Yeah, I don't think you have to say anything. They just want us to be there.
I think so, that's how it reads to me. Is there anything further I'm missing?
I just think it's a very
Yeah.
important thing for council to try and attend that. It is one of an anchor business in our community. You know.
I will be attending.
Okay,
If Brian would like to.
anybody else?
I'll attend as well.
Okay,
I'm also chairing.
Oh, how about we just make a motion, or I can make a motion to send whoever is available,
sure.
any councillors that are available. Just
Carrie, likely to, maybe even Linda.
Okay. So Councillor Yuzinski has made the motion that we make a motion to send all available councillors to the home hardware grand opening event on Thursday, May 7th. Any further comments, questions, considerations? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? That is carried. Okay. Moving on to item 6.1.1 D, the Manning Handy Van Committee. So as per the attached information we have there, they're looking at reviving the committee, it sounds like. That first meeting is scheduled to be Tuesday, May 5th at 10 a.m. at the Delaire Lodge. I see Councillor Reeve was on the committee previously. So they're looking for a representative and an alternate.
I just was reading down here before we do that the county of Northern Lights pays 50% and the town of Manning pays 50% of the insurance, and I thought that Northeast Housing does.
It was very muddy and it was confirmed that the town pays 50, the county pays 50, and it's
Okay.
They actually pay, the North Peace Housing pay the insurance. And we are refunding them for that, both the town and the county.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not either one of our insurance, it's actually the state one.
Gotcha. Thank you. And if Brent, do you want to sit on it? You can, if not, I can sit on it and.
If you want to do it, you're close.
Are you sure?
I'll be the alternate.
Perfect.
okay. So we will appoint Councillor Deckent and Councillor Reese as the alternate. And I will do that sticky note, as that says when the meeting is. Thank you. Although I will make a note, this one. Okay. So we just need a motion to appoint those two as we discussed.
I can make that motion.
Okay, Councillor T. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay. On to 6.1.1, item E, the ordinance standing committee meeting. So administration has requested that we as councilors say Tuesday, May 26th. Which is following our regular council meeting to be our next ordinance meeting date.
Is that list a lot shorter than the first one? Because I don't think after council, like, time.
Oh, yeah.
We should be good.
Yeah.
Okay,
That was pretty.
and I did have two policies and one bylaw that I was looking at. I don't know if we want to put that in a motion or if I can just tell you after.
You can just tell.
Okay. So if council's okay, we will set Tuesday, May 26th, following our council meeting as the next ordinance meeting. Can I have somebody make that motion, please? Okay, Councillor Reese. All in favor? That is carried. Sorry, 26th. Sorry. And that was Council Reese that made the motion. You're welcome. Okay, we'll move on. The next item is 6.1.1F, which was an addition, to save the date for the RMA Zone 4 meeting. So I just sent this out because the accommodations for High Prairie were slim. And so as the RMA Zone Chair, I got the email and figured that if we were looking to do any accommodation bookings, that we should probably do it sooner rather than later. So I just wanted to make sure that it was on our agenda. I'll drive out the morning of, so I don't need it. It's an hour and a half drive, so I think it's, I know I'm fine, but I just,
We'd be okay to drive out then.
it's an hour and a half.
Yeah, we should do that.
I'll be driving too.
Yeah, so if everyone's okay, then we can just accept it for information. I just wanted to make sure that if we needed any accommodations booked, we did that before it got late.
What time We normally start like 9 or 9:30 or something.
Yeah, I'm hoping to push it maybe to like 9:30 or 10, but it's gonna depend on what we do for presenters and all that kind of thing. So that's actively in the process as an update, as your chair, I can tell you that we've been emailing and phoning, harassing people already, so that's great. So if that's good and we don't need accommodations, then I'll just need a motion to accept that, report as information. It was, yeah. August 14th, yeah. So, oh, sorry, Councillor Deckett made that motion, so all in favor? That is carried.
The information.
So we will move on to item 6.1.2A, the CEO report, which was in your edition sent yesterday, and I will turn it over to Gerhard.
Thank you, Jay. So just an update to start off with. So we officially hired our ag fieldman. She has accepted and she will start on May 25th. Her name is Tegan Scott. She's got some nice qualifications. So I think it'll be a good fit into the county. People misplaced, but I'm sure she'll catch up quick. We interviewed a few people, we interviewed 3 people. There was about 12 resumes that we saw, so it's quite a good interest that we saw in the position. On the Chamber of Commerce, I tried to attend. Apparently they were meeting. I did not get access. I'll try for the next one.
Where is the meeting?
It was at the Legion.
They didn't let you in or what?
No, it was locked. The door was locked.
Didn't know the secret password.
Or maybe a secret, not visible. And then most of council attended the Nafara Farm Appreciation Evening. I think that was actually wonderful. I really enjoyed the entertainment. And I think it was very good to give some acknowledgement to the Michael Chopsel. We had our quarterly health and safety committee meeting. It's quite buzzy at the moment. We're preparing for our audit coming up in October for our call. The pressure is on. I want that place. Cherie is cracking the whip on us there, so it should be good. We're at the Northwest ESS meeting, some update from the province. Preparation of the wildfire season, that might be a little bit, maybe a little bit less than last year.
First the flood, then the fires.
I beg your pardon?
First the flood, then the fires.
Yeah. That in the universe.
Welcome to the north. And then we had the Grimshaw Healthcare Attraction Retention Committee Subcommittee meeting. Some interesting things out of that. We had our Arma Zone 4 meeting, and one that was quite interesting was the Energy Alberta Social Economic Work Group that started. Josh and myself attended that one. Some of the subgroups and working groups that they're going to create out of this is expanding a little bit, so we'll probably by the next meeting we'll have some more information on that. There was nothing further said on the siting or any of those things. They're still busy with that, so I did ask that. I attended the Alberta Workplace Employment Law Seminar. It was quite interesting. We got some interesting feedback there about employment, if we leave it there. Might get in trouble with saying something, but there's definitely some stuff available out there that particularly companies will definitely use a little more. I think that was actually a wonderful conference to attend, and there should be more of that. Just everything changes so rapidly at the moment. You have to stay current with a lot of those, especially on the employment side. There was we received a request from the Battle River Pioneer Museum. They want all of council to attend a visit, a little bit of a tour of the museum there on May 12th. So once we're done with that, I would really like us to get a motion if council are interested to go, so we can get a motion for that. Then there's also the interprovincial meeting that we attended. The next meeting is actually in the Green. We're not sure where it is. And we just have to decide or which date we are recommending and it's Brent and Terry, I think is the one also, yeah, Brent and Terry.
It's Brent and Terry.
Yeah, you don't remember that. Yeah. So if you can give me a date, potential date for that one, that we could add in there. Absolutely, please. And then we did a WhatsApp video meeting with the company that's going to do the camera and the speaker system in this place. So it is moving out. We're waiting for the final quote on that one. We should have it within the next week or so. Is what they promised, or what he promised us. And that is my report. I'll take questions if there are any.
Anybody have any questions for Gerhard? Seeing none, so we will make a motion to acknowledge receipt of CEO report and accept the Battle River Pioneer Museum invitation request. Is there any counselors who are not available to attend, or it's after council meeting? And it shouldn't be too long that it's going to interfere with the ICF, or we should be fine. Okay. So council.
I can make that one.
Okay, so council can go ahead and put that in their calendars, please, for May 12th at 1:30. And Councillor Thies made the motion. Okay, last call for questions, considerations. Otherwise, call for the vote. All in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, moving on to the man of the day. 6.1.5A is your March 2026 bank reconciliation report.
Always lots of questions, so I'm ready. It's just here for your adoption.
Anybody have any questions, flags, comments? Otherwise, we'll look for a motion to accept it. Okay, Councillor Reese, last call for questions, comments. Okay, otherwise we'll call for the vote. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, we'll move on to 6.1.5B is your 2025 audited financial statements.
There again.
Come on down. It's like the Price is Right. Football prizes.
Okay, so a little bit of fun with this one too. You guys got the original draft. So before I kind of dive into my report, I just want to highlight there were 2 pages provided to you in the additions. So what had happened if you just look at the first page in your additions package, the acquisition, so buying capital assets and disposing was netted out, so there was actually nothing on the disposals before, just the way it pulled into their system. So they actually caught this when they were finishing off our reporting to municipal affairs, and I missed it, so they got one, which is good. So that's the only change on these 2 statements. Nothing else changes. The rest of your package is good. So then just jumping back, what we're doing here today, obviously, you guys are required as council to adopt the draft financial statements, as well as approve any reallocations of reserves. So we've had an amount in the unrestricted surplus growing now for a couple of years, predominantly because of, well, the 2 big problem things, the uncertainty with the DIP assessment as well as just kind of the ongoing legal settlement issue. However, it's gotten to the point now where we're happy with the Mercer decision thing and it's been dealt with and paid for. So we're looking at moving some of that money, bringing it down to about $1 million is the recommendation from the auditors to leave there. And getting the rest of it put aside to one of your other reserves. So 2 motions today, like I said, one to adopt and the other to reallocate some of that unrestricted surplus to various reserves. As far as the statement goes, same report format as the last couple years. So biggest thing is in layman terms, we passed. Yeah, we passed the audit. So basically municipal affairs is just looking for an unqualified audit opinion, which is the auditors essentially, that would be them saying, we're not sure that the numbers here are accurately reflected because of whatever the issues are. We've never had an issue with that. I don't believe ever in the history of the county. So continue on there. And no issues of ongoing concern. Other than that, I've just kind of walked you through some of the metrics that that municipal affairs measures. They're called their red flag indicators, I guess, that they watch for financially. So tax-based ratio, they want to see residential and farmland ideally not account for more than 95%. So we kind of have the opposite problem. We're down at 15.2. So well away from their target. Tax collection rate, they like to watch and see us hit 90% per year. So for this year, we had, at the date I did this, we had collected 96.38% of current. There is a couple problem ones there just with the ongoing oil and gas situation that we continue to levy because they haven't been formally handed over to the Orphan Well Association. So they continue to be taxed knowing we're not ever going to get a penny of that back. So it will never be 100%. Population change, this is kind of a moot point because we have no idea. The next census, I think, is next year. This year, okay. Current ratio is a fun one. So just looking at your balance sheet or your statement of financial position, the ability to just pay your liabilities. So it has to be greater than 1. We are significantly higher. Just a sign of healthy liquidity, I guess, is a way to put it. The rest of them are all pretty much unchanged. The debt one's just a good highlight there. So look at this every year. It's also very important because if we do any applications to borrow, we have to do this calculation again and just prove that we're within our limit. So it is in our statements every year. But from a service perspective, debt to revenue percentage, they want it less than 120% of total revenues. So we are well below that at 59%. And debt service to revenue, they want to be less than 20% of your tax revenue being used to pay off debt. So we're a measly 5, which is good. The infrastructure investment one is kind of interesting. So what their expectation is that we're investing more in our capital assets than your annual depreciation. It shows that you're not letting your infrastructure age, I guess, or overage. So we show this as a percentage 55.45, which is actually a little bit low, and I can't remember. Well, it should be 100%, right? And that's, I guess, it hasn't become an issue yet. We can play around with policies and things like that, but the biggest chunk of that, like on our budgets, we are meeting this. The problem is we're waiting for grant funding for a lot of very big projects to do this. And crushing gravel, which is probably the most expensive thing we did last year, is not an investment in tangible capital assets. It's an increase in inventory for use, right? So it's expressed a little differently. I don't think even if we had this conversation, it would be an issue at this point in time. Point 12 there, infrastructure age, so they just expect us that we're kind of maintaining a level. The depreciated value of all our assets is at least 40% of what their original cost is, so every year, any asset the county owns, just like any business, it depreciates in value. So we're sitting still around 65%. It's been pretty flat like that for a while, so pretty good. So that's kind of the red flags indicators. The other ones are general things related to election years and population change, etc. So then just some other points that I wanted to make in the statements. So if you jump to the income statement, I don't have a copy in front of me, so I'll just try and find the. So statement of operations, it would be page 5 of the statements. Yeah. So in the top in the revenue, the very last line under there is called realized gain or loss on investments. And then at the under the other heading, there's also an unrealized gain on investments. So what happens here is we hold very boring investments, just GICs and bonds. So bonds are marketable, meaning that as rates for GICs change, people can buy them and we can sell them. So there is room for them to actually grow in value compared to what we pay for them. As well, the interest they accrue over a period of time also increases their value. So we record all those as unrealized gains on investments. If we actually sell or liquidate any, or if they mature, then your gain or loss would actually be realized. So just to highlight the distinction there, we do have an amount in both. For us, predominantly, it's always going to be unrealized. But we do have one actively traded bond portfolio, so there is a little bit of realized gain or loss on investments. What was my second point here?
Josh,
Yep.
user fees and sale of goods is down substantially from 2025 to 2024.
Okay.
So, oh, that was our budget.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it's actually up, and that's normal. It's but it's one of those things that's kind of hard to budget because predominantly that's our sales of water is probably the biggest one. So water, wastewater, all that kind of stuff. So
Sorry, not concerned.
yeah, I didn't figure you were. Yeah.
Josh, maybe just on that one, the administrative services.
Yep.
We budgeted for 2.2 and it actually was 3.4.
Yeah, so the bulk of that, and that was one of the comments I had on the report. We had a $1.19 million variance, but we made an adjustment to adjust our uncollectible taxes and penalties. So just remember that equal to 1.3 million. So had none of that happened, you'd have been right on track or just under, right? And that, yeah, we go into under the understanding that that's going to happen. Concerning when it's taxes, less concerning when it's penalties. Some of those old aged oil and gas taxes, when we're levying taxes against them, we do it because it's an automated process. There's no chance we're ever going to get penalties, let alone some of the tax dollars back. Legal fees as well. Like I think we finally dropped it this year in the budget, if I remember correctly, but we've still been carrying what I call a very significant legal fees budget of 500,000 because we're sitting in limbo, right? So I think this is the third year in a row now that we're sitting there for a budget, but we haven't actually spent anywhere close to that. The problem is if I knew when we would spend that, I would change it, but I have no idea when anything is going to happen with that. So it's a sit and wait, and we just need to make sure we're ready for kind of situation. Transportation services was the other one where I figured you guys might pick up on a variance. So a couple things there, but most of that is just related to timing differences. Biggest one being in contracted services, but differences in fuel, wages everywhere. Again, a lot of these are we do as much work as we can to budget. Anything that gets delayed from one year to the other will be a very big obvious variance. But again, even things like the weather can have variance impacts to us, so. And to construction seasons, fuel prices is another one, so it was big enough that I just noted it in there. And the only other variance that kind of stuck out was planning and development, and it has for the last couple of years, but once again, just that what we pay to ISL is was substantially higher, I guess, but it's very weird. And even David Shore has indicated like the last couple of years have been more subdivisions and development permits than we've seen historically. Good for the development permit side of things because we want to see it. The subdivisions though they were a costly venture. That's why council's looking at alternative application fees and methods. Then I had a point, thought maybe somebody will ask Josh, what the heck is a government transfer for capital? So we keep all of our grants are up in the revenue side of things, and then we have this different line called transfers for capital. So that's any grants we receive related to capital projects. They're shown differently just because it shouldn't really reflect a big surplus in your operations. So that's why they put it at the bottom. And we did have a budgeted deficit originally on these statements, and the reason why obviously is because that transfers for capital is outside of there. And then once we get rid of that, we do anticipate having a cash deficit every year. We're not taxing for amortization. So that's the biggest reason for that. It's just the non-cash usage or aging of your assets. So that less our debt repayments, I guess, because the other thing that's not reflected on your statement of operations is your debt principal repayments. However, we bring in tax revenue to pay for those, which is in there. Other than that, the only other point I had to make is we had note 20, so way at the back of the statements. Note 20 is called contingencies, so it's just, again, we are obligated in these to present anything that has the potential to be material, whether we can assign a dollar value to it or not, or whether we know the timing of it or not. So we just have to use our best judgment. So if Teresa gets there, you can read that one, but it's essentially just disclosing that we are in the lawsuit that we are in related to the South Regional Waterline claim. So those were kind of the big ones that I had to point for you guys. Happy to take any other questions.
I think I certainly appreciated the report. I know you had to put a lot in there, but having the notes and being able to go back and reference those notes is valuable to me. And I also want to make it like really clear, like, good job, Josh. Like, that's to have a clean audit bill is good. And we're like not even close on the red flag area, which is important to note, right? Like we're not even in the maybe line. So that's awesome. So I'll turn it over to council if there was any other questions or clarification needed that he didn't already cover in the notes.
There is one more new thing they did. Actually, the Reeve and Deputy Reeve have to sign the statement of financial position this year. That was a new change. So the first time you'll see that, but it actually says, so that's page 4 of the statements, approved on behalf of council. And so following the motion, at some point, we'll need those signed as well. Yeah.
Okay, so we need, is there any other questions, council? Otherwise, we're ready to make the motion. So we'll make the first motion to adopt the audited financial statements. Somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Councillor Kuzinski.
Should I put that for the revision?
Yeah. Well, as presented is fine because we had the revisions, but just with the adjustment that we're gonna do. So just, Yep.
Okay.
But just the statements are adopted as presented with the adjustment to, or the reallocation expressed in the next motion, right?
You want to roll it all into one?
That gets messy.
Okay.
But as long as you guys know you're adopting them subject to the one more change, right?
Okay.
And before you make that second motion, I'll just talk.
Okay, so on this first motion here on the floor, Councillor Yuzinski moved that. Is council clear on the motion that we will adopt the audited statements and subject to the adjustments and allocation in the next motion? I guess maybe in the next motion, we could list that number once it's done.
Yeah. That would be good.
Everybody clear? Okay, call for the vote, all in favor? That is carried.
Okay, so before you guys make this one, I'll just give you some justification, because what we've done historically here is we've just allocated any funds that build up in our unrestricted surplus proportionately across all our reserves. Which is easy, but I think we're getting to a point in time where it's pretty easy to pick some of the main categories that we're gonna have to focus or where administratively I'm seeing kind of the future need for them. So what I've done is just kind of looked at what certain projects cost that could be funded from these areas if we were unsuccessful in grant funding, or if we wanted to proceed in lieu of receiving grant funding for something. So in the report, I believe I gave you the allocation, and then I also highlighted what the ending balance after that for each of those reserves would be. So just quickly run through that. It's in the report there.
Because the balances are the ones that are in the background portion, right?
Yeah.
3 million.
Yeah, so there, I'm just bringing them all up to kind of nice round numbers, but round numbers that would essentially allow you to do a project, right? So it'd bring your airport reserve up to 3 million, and I can't remember what that overlay project is looking. I think it's like 4 million total-ish. Yeah. So again, just kind of making sure we have some funding there, bringing the bridge one up to 2.5. Fire, just with the upcoming changes to our relationship with the other municipalities, I thought that might be worthy depending on what needs to happen with halls or equipment or things like that. And water, that's kind of our projects historically have been between 2 and 3.5 million, excluding the South Regional water line. So just kind of having enough on hand there if we decided we wanted to pursue another phase of connections, we'd be able to do that without the assistance required from the Water for Life funding. So that was the thought process. The rest of the reserves, they're highlighted there on I think the last schedule, or one of the last notes. Just get down there. So I think they're adequate for what they're intended for, in my opinion. But obviously that is subject to your guys' approval. So
Yeah, it looks good too, and it's rounding up. You're waiting here.
so the reason they're all over the
Yeah.
place is they've just kind of been proportionately built up, and then as we utilize them, those numbers aren't ever round numbers either. So
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so does council have any further questions, need further clarification on that? Otherwise, we're looking for a motion to authorize the reallocation of the unrestricted surplus as displayed on your screen there for the airport capital, bridge replacement, fire protection, and water upgrading. Sure, okay, Councillor Ungarian moves to make the motion. Last call for questions, comments, considerations. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Motion is carried.
thank you,
Thanks, Josh.
council. Oh, you're not
Oh,
done
I
with
guess
me
you have
yet.
one more.
Yeah. But wait, there's more.
Come on. Okay, so we'll move on to 6.1.5C was an addition in your package, Director of Finance update.
Yeah, sorry for making an addition, but just wanted to make sure we got it on here. So once again, a few motions required, but we'll walk through the easy stuff first. You haven't seen a council grants budget in a while or report, so just this is this year's summary of it as of the date that I did the report. I think I did that graph last week, so it should be very up to date. So 53,000 and change left in your miscellaneous council grants, just important to highlight that. And then just a couple reminders. So we do have this weekend coming up, we have the Peace River Expo. I've actually weaseled myself out of it. I'm gonna go see my dentist in Grand Prairie instead and save myself a second trip because my wife was going there anyway. It worked out good. For me, I guess, yeah. No, well, right
That's
now,
up for interpretation.
right now, yes, actually, because I'm having an issue that's been bugging me for quite some time now.
I did offer to check it out.
Yeah.
Since I probably got a Leatherman in the truck.
Yeah.
Go that far, whiskey.
But just a couple things to mention. If there is anything else you guys have thought of, I guess, that you want to have on hand, please let us know. Please let me know before Friday, so we don't panic. We are making a little stand-up poster that's just highlighting the, I think, upcoming or potential upcoming changes to the land use bylaw and the application process and that kind of stuff. And Pearl will be there in my absence to fill in because that was kind of the biggest communication piece we had to make. So I figured it would be good for her to be there and be able to speak with anybody about those changes. And then good news for you guys, we, I don't remember if we talked about this before or not, but we got rid of most of the no spin the wheel and no hundreds of prizes. We have one really good prize to hand out. And I think there's just some crayons for the kids. So it'll be a little easier on that side of things. And hopefully that leads to just some more chatting with you guys, which is really what it's for, right? And really, when you hand out just hundreds of little trinkets, you spend so much money on all these things and people get them. It's like, I think we put like a $500 prize basket together, which saves you probably $8,000 on all the little junk things that we've handed out historically. So, so we'll get your feedback from how that goes afterwards, but easier to set up, hopefully leads to more conversations with you guys. And if, like I said, if there's anything else you want specifically brought and advertised or put out, just try and let me know in the next day or two so we can get it together. Gerhard already spoke to the working group, but I went there as well, like he said, so I was just gonna give a verbal update, but I think he captured everything. And then just a reminder in case council has forgot, but remember last year, I can't even remember how long ago we approved this 72 hours to survive video shoot. So we are the host community. I had a phone meeting with the director yesterday, just kind of getting ready, touching base again. We're about 6 weeks away from the time they're actually going to be here. So looking forward to it. There's a couple businesses that are doing ads as part of it as well. We get an actual ad for the county shot. He sent us a script kind of based on what other municipalities have done and just pulled wording from what we've had on our websites and stuff related to the county, which I think will work very good. And then we just have to get some video footage for it. So if anybody wants to be on TV, I guess we might need volunteers. Trin and I haven't figured out completely what we're gonna have for shots yet on there. It depends. Well, and we've got 9:30 to or 10:30 to 3:30 as a slot to film with them. So we've got time to go around and get anything specific. I did think if out front here is clean enough and maybe we've got some flowers planted and stuff, just having a kind of a shot of the front of the administration building would be good. They're staying down in Sunny Valley, Brent, so there should be lots of good river and kind of bush and wild shots and farmland and stuff already, so yeah.
No, Josh is not participating.
No.
In the actual survivor part, yeah, no, just the liaison. What else to say there, though? So we are gonna have our next meeting, just to touch base with him, is gonna be I think May 27th. One of the things they do, they meet again with local people. They want to touch base with the RCMP and with the fire department, just because it is a survivalist show. So typically they film the guys with having a fire and stuff. So we obviously have to look at fire bans and things that are there, and they'll talk to So I forwarded Larry's email address because it's gonna be filmed around here, so they'll touch base with him. I'll sort out who on the RCMP. That one I thought was kind of funny, but they said you'd be surprised how many communities we go to, and when you just have people with cameras and random people that nobody knows, the police get called all the time, so it's better to just
They might get
give them a heads up, yeah. Yeah. So I guess stay tuned, but it'll be coming up in the next 6 weeks. They're here June 7th to 9th, I believe. And then just one more fun one that requires a couple motions. We've got 2 delinquent utility accounts. One is a wastewater account that is partially paid following its non-sale at the last tax auction. So it's just a year's worth of wastewater that we're going to be transferring onto a tax roll. I think that's the first motion. And the second one is a water utility account. So there was a gentleman that passed away, and basically everybody else involved just walked away from this property. So we have inherited this one. It's in Dixonville. So the utility account has been shut off now, but we want to transfer all the unpaid utility charges to taxes so that if and when it does sell, we don't forget about those and miss those. It just makes it a little easy. I've quoted you the legislation of the MGA that lets me do that, so it is there for some motions.
Okay, so we'll start off with the first motion for just Josh's report in general. Any more comments? Otherwise, we'll get a motion to accept the director of public or director of finance.
Public finance.
Public finance, yeah. I'm trying to read 2 things on the screen here. The director of finance report, please. Okay, Brent. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, the second motion is to move the unpaid wastewater charges from the account number to the property taxes owing on the roll number pursuant to 553 of the MGA. Oh, sorry, cover. Do you want me to read it slower?
You want me to email you the Word copy so you can just copy and paste them?
Unpaid, authorize the transfer of unpaid wastewater charges from account 2232 to the property taxes owing on roll number 74177 pursuant to section 553 of the Municipal Government Act.
I'll make that motion.
I think Brent already made, or no, Brent made that one, sorry, yeah, you're right. So Councillor Razinski made that motion. What? It's my fault because I'm talking silly, so she's writing silly.
Still think I got it wrong.
No, you said. Yes, yes.
Okay, all in favor? Motion's carried. Yeah.
We'll make the next.
Okay, so Councillor Decker will throw that in there now. Okay, are you ready? Move to, or authorize the unpaid water utility charges in the amount of 491.77 to the property taxes owing on roll number 313437 pursuant to section 553 of the Municipal Government Act. Then we'll just have to go up and after authorize, the transfer. Right. The transfer of unpaid, yeah. Okay, everybody got that? All right, let's call for questions, comments, otherwise call for the vote, all in favor? Motion is carried. Oh my gosh,
Now you're good with me. Thank you, council.
but no prizes. Okay, council good for a couple more, or do we need a break? We're okay? All right, we will move down to section 6.2.4 emergency measures and disaster services. Item A is a wind alert discussion.
Yeah, so more just resident alert discussion.
Yeah, I see, I got two different headings going on my paper here, okay.
I did tell Mrs. Douglas white alert, because, as I have in here, I mean, there's two major options for us to use for an alert system. Everybody, all municipal governments kind of seem to be using Voyant because it is made for municipalities. With the exception of our neighbors to the west, theirs is just an SMS email thing that they, through their website. We have the option to do that as well, however, once we kind of dove into that a little more, it would actually cost a little more than the Voyant would. So I'm just bringing this forward. I know council has discussed this in the past, however, like I said, municipalities around us are using an alert system of some sort. The Voyant system, I feel is the go-to one because it can alert with voice notifications as well. So if anybody is still utilizing landline, which they are in this county, they will call, say, hey, whatever the message is you're sending them. There's options as well to notify of all sorts of things, development wise, road closures, anything you could dream of. You can notify people of, you can geocache it so that you could just notify Ward 1 and say, this is what's going on. You can, it doesn't even have to be by ward, you can go by a radius or just draw the little box on there. Yeah, the downside to this is you need resident buy-in for it. I'm not sure how much buy-in that there would be, that's why we're bringing it forward to you. It is an annual subscription of approximately $4,000. I'm not gonna bother going through the second one, because the second option is Everbridge, sorry, which is substantially more, so kind of a moot point, but I threw it in there. And option 3 is just status quo, keep going with how we're going, social media, the website, newspaper.
I like the idea of going by ward, like, just given all the road.
Well, and
alerts we have.
yeah, and it doesn't matter too, right? It's like it's, we're not limited to go by ward, right? It's like it's.
Or just notifying people.
Yeah, I could draw a big circle in that area saying, hey, by the way, we're.
This road is going.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess beyond that too, right, things like repair meetings, events, things
Yeah.
going on, like all those things can be.
I mean, like Town of Peace River, for example, they use it if there's a garbage delay. They say, hey, just so you know, garbage is gonna get picked up today, it's gonna get picked up tomorrow.
Which is something I guess like Long Lake could tap into, like during when the snowfall was closed and the transfer station wasn't open, that's probably something we could have thrown in there, right?
That's kind of at the spur of the moment. based on the operator of the site.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
But,
there's-
yeah,
the options are endless.
yeah,
right?
oh, it is, and that's, yeah, where I say like, and that. The thing too, like if they get that text and you can have a link in there to. You have a little flyer or whatever that we have on the website, you click that link and here's all the info, right?
My question is like, is there like a contract or is it like year to year? Like, could we sign up for 1 year, see what our community buy-in would be and then cancel it if we find, okay, nobody's upticking this, but at least then we can say to the public, here, look,
We tried.
we tried, this is, I think this is literally the last resort of what we can do to address communication gaps, right? Like, I mean, it goes to landlines, emails, text messages, like there's really no barrier to access other than people signing up. But if after a year, nobody does, then we can say, we're done. Is that an option? Like,
Yeah, oh, of course, yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I think it's in the digital age, this is a smart option and then, I mean. I know Gerhard and Josh and myself have heard it several times that, oh, well, we don't. Have Facebook or don't read Facebook or don't go on your website, so. Here's your last and final option.
What's the subscription fee based on, is that per number of users or?
No, it's just based on our municipality size. Like, so like it's. I think under 10,000 residents, so we've got a ways to go before we.
reach them, yeah. Yeah.
So and that 4,000 isn't exact, I just don't wanna give out their
Yeah.
exact information, but.
I mean, if we're not locked into a contract, I'd like to see us try it. I mean, we need to find a better way to get engagement and information out there and. When there's not a barrier to it, like, I mean, landlines and everything are included, I think there's value.
And so how far ahead, you have to put in an alert, like, if it's on a short notice, something happens in the morning.
Yeah, like if I
Do it
send.
right away.
Yeah, like if I send out a thing that says, like the road closure group. Trina, she's going to do her Facebook stuff, she can just pop it in there saying, hey, just so you know, road closure, here. Don't go over it. And it also does, cause she did look into a little bit for me, with our website provider, it can tie into the website, so what you put through the point,
Goes right.
the information's in.
That saves,
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate to council that this is the public signing up on their phones. So it's not like the SMS or not the SMS, but the alerts that we get.
Yeah.
That's pushed down on whoever owns a cell phone. We're probably gonna need some sort of drive for the public to sign up with the app on their phones.
So,
It's a bit too quick for that, I would think.
Is it?
Was it this Friday?
It's Friday. Maybe that is.
yeah, yeah,
We can have a
I'm
discussion.
good, I'm not.
That is
Um,
fun.
Yeah.
And the point Josh just kind of brought up is there a fee for the residents? Absolutely not. This is. Sign up for it. I
It
mean,
would be that they need
away
to
you go.
physically sign up for it.
So, and I mean, we can blast that, if this is the option the council wants to go with, I mean, we can. Hopefully blast it out on every means possible and. Word of mouth hopefully gets around that this is. How you can stay up to date on what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's time. I know I brought it forward before and there was concern, but I think like it's becoming the norm and this is the way that people need to get information and I think it's the best thing we can do. I mean, I'd be prepared to put the motion on the table that we do a 1 year trial and reassess it in 1 year and see what it looks like, see what our buy-in is. Maybe nobody wants to sign up and then we can stop paying the fee, but I think this is literally the last option we have to get people to engage and communicate and share, right? I mean, we have the newspaper, we have our website, we have our social media, but this was kind of the last gap that needed to be addressed, and I think Buoyant has been proven in other municipalities to work, so. Is there any other comments, questions, considerations anybody would like to bring forward before we call for the vote?
I know Northern Sunrise has this. Do you have any idea how is it utilized much or is it?
I think all of it,
With the buy-in from the other municipalities.
Okay,
I can comment on the town of Manning one, because obviously I reside in the town and they use it for different things, in case like a line burst or anything that would, I think it's worthwhile.
a lot of the flood alert information that we were getting through Northeast Housing with the situation piece of it was screenshots of warning alerts that were coming from the town. So I think it's a pretty common thing. I think the biggest struggle is going to be the buy-in from the community, but if we make it clear that this is literally the last thing we have to try to address it, we don't know. So I think a 1-year trial is a responsible thing to do, and we'll see what it looks like. Any other comments, questions, concerns, considerations?
Is that, it's excellent for emergency situations, but I know if we can also put on like reminder, like we're meeting tonight.
Oh, 100%, and that's
I think
the
that'd be a-
bonus thing with this, it's not just,
for your-
yeah, the forest is on fire and be alert type thing, it's, I mean, absolutely, it could be used for that, and should be. But, yeah. Anything you can dream of.
Okay, final call. We'll call for the vote then, all in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, wanna take a quick break before we dive into the chunk of public works, or are we all good? Everybody's okay? Okay. So we will move on to item 6.3.1. Item A is a Director of Public Works report of the Beaverville.
Yes, because apologies, I had many reports to give you guys, and this one was is very fluid this week, so. So as we're aware, there's been some spring runoff issues. We've had some major, shouldn't call them major, I guess, moderate erosion concerns. A couple of note were Township 840 up here on 902, as well as yesterday 235 south of Highway 690. Then just got made aware of another one. We're addressing them the best we can. We're battling that. We actually, knock on wood, we got the north crew was caught up with opening culverts yesterday, at the end of the day. But we're still fighting, but I will have, I've been collecting pictures and do growing things to bring to council once things calm down a little more. That being said, per your on-call policy, transportation on-call ends in 2 days. That has been extended by myself by 2 weeks. That just vote that way in case something major happens. Before I move on from that, any questions for spring round?
I was just wondering if maybe we could put a reminder of if people see things like who to call and the after hours number is available. I know I got a lot of calls are like, my water's running over the road. I'm like, okay, well, call the office, please. There's an after hours call number if it's really bad. I just think maybe just to remind people that, you know, calling your counselor is just one more step in the delay and you should.
For sure,
call them.
that's, and yeah, I mean, I appreciated the ones that made their way to me, and the office. I don't have numbers yet, I will have that later, at another meeting, but.
Maybe just like a quick social media blitz, like a reminder, if you're seeing things, it's the season, this is the numbers you can call.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, I mean, the second people see water over the road, they start panicking, they don't realize that a few miles over, there's bigger issues.
For sure.
I spent a bulk of last week out in the field helping the guys triage things because there were some major issues and that we needed to jump to and deal with. So that we don't lose roads or, and like I said, knock on wood, we haven't had anything major. Just some moderate erosion issues. Okay. I don't know if you noticed, but as you pulled into the office, the flag is at half mast. That is due to National Day of Mourning for workers that have lost their lives or been injured or become ill on the job. In 2025, 144 people were lost in workplace injuries, illness in Alberta alone. So, yeah. So just for information for you guys. There is a Water North Coalition meeting on May 14th at Big Lakes County that I'm planning on attending, as usual. We're in the process this week of interviewing our summer hires, get that done and dealt with. The airport, couple things to note at the airport. There was a no TAM issued for outplaced water. What that means is that there was some water on the taxiway that notified the airplanes. There's water there. Believe it's been dealt with. I haven't heard from the airport guy. He's pretty busy out there dealing with this stuff. The other thing is the fuel provider has sold. Located has sold. Gerhard and I need to go through getting an agreement together with the new fuel provider. That will be done and dealt with in the near future. Dixonville. We had some issues with the sewer system. Right at the lagoon, there was a bit of a blockage with a bunch of rags and a lot of corn. I'm not even joking, like way too much. It's been dealt with. We had to notify environment about it. It's not necessarily an issue, but I just the council should be aware.
So it overflowing?
Yeah, just at the manholes, the one, so at the chamber, the one chamber is on top of the lagoon, so it was flowing into the lagoon anyway. But the other one was kind of flowing in the trees a bit. It was very minor, you know. Yeah, we caught it in time and we had a contractor come and deal with it. Other than that, I believe that is all, unless there are questions.
Okay. Council, any questions? Carlos, at this point?
We're looking at some high temperatures coming up.
Yes, we're ready.
Yeah, we've been pretty lucky, it's been freezing at night, but.
Yeah, and that's been the saving grace. If it hadn't cooled off at night like it has been, things would have been a lot worse.
Still quite a whack, snow is worse though.
Oh, 100%. That's the nice thing about that though, is that even on a normal year, that usually comes after and just slowly comes out of the bush, but I'm hoping that we don't have any issues.
This will be the latest I've ever seen or heard of the piece going out.
Oh, yeah, that's been very late.
Yeah, so it'll be, well, it's usually a week, 10 days, time it comes from Peace River to the Sun Valley, so. Be well into May, but. The way it's going, it's unheard of, as far as I know.
Yeah, so that's the other thing too, like with everything being delayed as much as it is with the spring. Everything's going to get kind of delayed a bit, right? So your dust control, that's another good point that we'll bring up. Dust control is, deadline is in 2 days, April 30th. Hard stop. So even still, that's gonna be delayed due to what we're dealing with right now. And then once we get things repaired and can get that moving, we will, but yeah. It's not gonna. There may be some, not so happy people with how delayed, or not how delayed it will be, just that it is delayed. And I know there already is.
It's usually in the end of May, anywhere, middle of May, anyway, or June, right?
Yeah, I believe it was June last year, so I'm hoping that we can hit that time, but it also depends. Like I told council in the past, on Northern Sunrise, they get theirs first, and then once they're done at Sunrise, and I trying to work on that with the supplier. That'll be a conversation for us now.
And that's because they go there first
Because that's, so usually, like, the frost comes out at Sunrise before it does
oh,
us, right? And so then once our frost comes out, then it's just a natural progression north for them. Yeah,
That's good. I think with the unprecedented snow, I think you guys have done a great job at being proactive and getting out there, and the roads are in way better shape than I thought they would be with the snowfall that we've had. So I think the crew has been working overtime and it shows, so that's
we
great.
appreciate-
Any other questions, comments? Otherwise, look for a motion to acknowledge receipt of the Director of Public Works report and accept it for information. Brent, Councillor Reese. All in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, we'll move on to item 6.3.2A, which is the Bridge Engineering Award. Back to you.
Yes, so, as council's aware, we had a RFP out for Bridge Engineering, our 3-year contract with Most Engineering had come to an end. And we received 4 submissions, one of which was incomplete. They tried to sneak some more information in, that didn't make it past the deadline, and we cannot accept that. We did a scoring based out of 5, and as you can see, they are very, very close. All 3, MPA Engineering, Most Engineering, and Helix Transportation Services, I believe is what they're called. Both, they're all 3 good companies. Most, as you know, has done work for us in the past. Yeah, with the scores and the rates we've seen. I believe we should go with the highest scored.
You get to have different eyes on the bridges for 3 years.
And MPA has been a big player in the bridge game for a long time, so.
So who's MPA?
MPA,
Yeah, what is it? Where they're from?
they're from Peace River.
Oh,
Same with all 3 are local, like, Helix, actually, their main office is Grand Prairie, but they recently acquired a transportation department of another firm in Peace River. And so they're offering services to this area. Well, they from the past, just from a distance, this is now a local presence.
Okay, there's no other questions or comments. We'll look for a motion to award the Bridge Engineering report and on a 3-year contract for 2026, 2027, and 2028.
yeah, I need to, see.
Okay, and award it to MPA.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's call for questions, comments. Otherwise, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? Motion's carried.
Thank you, council.
Okay, moving on to 6.3.2, item C is, or item B, sorry, the road ban sign report.
Yeah, so as per the last meeting, took this back and got some input and, the one thing I'm going to say here is that municipalities that do not blanket ban their gravel roads, that may be fine for them. I highly do not recommend that for this municipality. Don't know what kind of condition their roads are in and whatnot, but. Do not agree. The options there, I mean, a lot. 3 municipalities do signs off of their highways. That would result in about 219 intersections for us, which is almost 100 grand. And it's not even the dollar value of putting those signs out. Even if it was free, that our time to go change all these signs when we put road bands on, it would be too much. So, be blunt about it.
I think,
This back.
yeah, sorry. I'm gonna cut you off. I think we beat it to death at the last meeting, and I think at the end of the day, this is an administrative task, not a council task. We give you a budget to do the signs, you put the signs where they need to be so that they're done appropriately and effectively, and what works most with our road use policies and our other policies that we set. And I think that we just leave them at status quo. I can't justify the money for something to be pretty, so. I'm prepared to make the motion that we proceed with option 2 of status quo and no change, and let the road band signs be what they are. Any other questions, comments, concerns, considerations? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor?
Yeah,
I did. Oh, did. Yeah. Okay, that motion was carried, Mrs. Tucker. Yeah, so I was a little bit quick there. Okay, moving on to item 6.3.2C, which was an addition, the haul rates. Back to you, DWP.
DPW.
Or DPW. That's hard. Things are hard.
So as every year, bringing this forward to council to set the haul rates for 2026. I gave you a bit of a summary here. If we maintain the 2025 rates, or sorry, let me back up. We are graveling the north, so that's Keg River, Carcajou, Hawk Hills, and Miami North. Those would come out of, we've got a stockpile site up at the Keg River Carcajou, or sorry, the Carcajou turn, as well as a stockpile down in Carcajou. With everything considered, we're gonna be hauling approximately 109,000 ton this year. And which everything put together equates to 5,030,667 ton kilometers.
See, math is hard.
Yeah. I deserve that. So that 2025 rate, some of that gravel is going to be coming out of Sunny Valley. Why that is important is it has been some contention in the past of coming up the Sunny Valley Hill. With fuel the way it is, I believe that to be proactive, it would be a good idea to put a fuel surcharge in. As we've done in the past, it would be a day rate, makes it easier for Josh. So I based this as well, fuel surcharge on 25 trucks at 3.5 months. So if we keep to the 2025 rates plus the fuel surcharge, as well as 5% contingency, so that's an important thing to have in a big project like this. You would be 72,201.80 cents under budget. If you were to increase to option 2, you'd be 184,000. And that's just going up 5 cents on each ton kilometers in the loading factor. And so on and so forth. I don't need to read what you got in front of you, but you know, and the big thing here that I wanna mention is private companies are not the only ones that are experiencing the struggle with the fuel. We are also buying fuel and significantly higher costs.
Can I interrupt you just for a second, Charles? Guys at the back, can we just be a little bit quiet? It's really hard to hear Charles when your voice is coming this way too, please. Thank you. Sorry, Charles.
Nope, that's okay. So we're not immune to the inflation and the fuel costs and et cetera, right? So that's something I think council needs to keep in mind as well. I get hauling up Sunny Valley Hill is not a fun hill to climb. But we're still, still a high paying municipality when it comes to the actual rates. And if we implement a fuel surcharge, I believe that is fairly generous. So turn it over to council for discussion.
Is that $115 per day? Like a flat rate? Because you said per day.
Yeah, so on that fuel surcharge line. Like, and that's if council wants to change that as well, I just threw these out for numbers sake. But so at $1.40 to $1.50 a liter, give them $100 a day. If you work full day. Right, so, and I mean, I thoroughly enjoy working with the local trucks, like it's, by no means are we trying to shortchange anybody, but at the same time, we have public money to be responsible for as well.
So the current rate we're sitting on is $1.71 plus?
Well, no, like this is a moving scale, so for that week, say, fuel's at $1.55, they'd get 110 a day.
I'm just saying, at the moment, that the fuel price is, I think it's above $1.71.
Yeah, and then, yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, I just put these numbers open for conversational sake. We can set that scale as to how council wants to see it, if you wanna just see a blanket fuel surcharge. At a set rate, cool. I just need you to tell me what you want.
Would that be better for like invoicing and stuff or?
Well, if it was just one set.
Yeah.
That would be way better, way easier.
Well, I think before the moving scale was a nightmare, right?
Right,
Yes, yeah, it is a bit.
No, I know it's hard to predict, but we go with option one, is that gonna result in angry mob truckers standing around a council meeting?
Probably.
100% it is. 100%.
But that's another thing, like if we set these and we have this conversation now. I mean. Is that something that? In 2 weeks' time, if there's a gallery full of angry truckers, are we going to change it?
Does that not fall under like, or no, I guess it's only if we make a delegation, they come for a delegation, they can't come back for 6 months, right?
We were happy with the rates last year. We were a little higher than what we expected. Delegation, did we? No.
Nope, I don't think they did, no.
No, I don't think so.
No, we did, we set them and then, and. I mean, there was some grumblings, from. A couple people on site to myself, because they know it's no use talking about all rates to the checker. And nor myself, because, well. 7 that sit here separate, so. And I mean, by no means is anything that's sitting in this spreadsheet locked in stone. I can sit here, I got the spreadsheet open. If you want to adjust or play with numbers, do it.
So I guess my question is like, since you're the boots on the ground and you hear, I mean, we don't hear about it usually until it's an angry delegation or whatever, right? Like, what, I know you didn't put a recommendation on here, maybe you're not comfortable making one publicly, so
No.
don't if you're not. Do you have an idea of what would be sufficient based on what you're hearing?
I feel. Point out where we exceed our budget, maybe, and don't know, and give us an alternative.
Well, 100%, right? But it's just like. I mean, unfortunately, you're the one dealing with the trust, right? Like, we don't hear it all, right? So
For sure.
to make an informed decision, what are you hearing?
The fuel is the big thing.
Absolutely.
That's going to be the major thing that gets brought up. That, and like I said, the Sunny Valley Hill,
Yeah.
but. There are other municipalities that have hills. And they don't necessarily take that into account.
So what if we kept, on option 2, the ton per kilometer the same, 20 cents? And, like, put the $1.55 as loading factor? What,
So you
how
want,
much does that bring down?
so you want 20 cents and $1.55.
Oh, so
Option
So that brings you,
Option, well, I guess option 1 or 2, 20 cents,
20 and
ton kilometer,
Yeah.
155.
oh, 1.
yeah, I just need to know what you want and then I can manipulate it here. So that's, brings you to 1.936 million. Your budget is just over 2 million. So you're 66,000 under budget.
Can you read that again? So we did 20 cents and 1.55.
Yeah.
Worked out to what?
And sorry, that's with the dollar or $115.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, and so that gives you $66,435 under budget.
Well, that's not terrible.
Yeah, I don't know which is more important, ton per kilometer or loading factor. I mean, with the coming out of Sunny Valley.
I would say the loading factor,
Oh, okay,
because once you're up over that hill.
you're good.
Yeah, then you're done. So, the one thing I would recommend though, and I'm just gonna jump back to fuel surcharge, is if you set a fuel surcharge, we'll call it $115. Have it as anything over $1, whatever per liter. Because if it comes miraculously below that, then we can take it off, right? Turn it off charge.
Just have 115 as the max.
Well, it's up to you guys. That's up to you.
Oh,
If you bump it, I'll say, let's bump it to 120, that brings you 57,200 into budget.
Leaving it at 21.50, but then bumping it to 120? Or what did you say? Sorry.
Sorry, so if you keep the rates like we just said, the
Yeah.
20 cents, $1.55, and then 120
Oh,
fuel
okay.
surcharge.
I wasn't sure which one we were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that brings to $57,248 under budget.
With the price of fuel being and diesel being under.
At whatever rate you guys decide. I'm not touching that with them.
so what if we increase the loading factor then 5 cents? Like I'd be happy with just staying on budget and not having to change this later.
I agree.
Like use up our budget.
Kind of tricky, but we want it to where they grudgingly go to work, but not happy. For sure.
That,
So,
All
well,
that formula.
so at 20 cent ton kilometer, $1.60 loading factor, and $120 fuel surcharge brings you to 51,482 in fund. And I would, that's kind of the nice sweet spot, I guess.
yeah.
And then what triggers that? Like what's fuel that gotta be to trigger that?
Don't look to me.
I know. Just openly gazing and
Yeah.
there's that magic formula.
I haven't been following, you know, right?
Yeah,
I just paid $1.70 for gas. I think diesel for most people is over $2.
I was gonna say, it's gotta be, because I
keep in
just,
mind, we would go with what our UFA
Yeah.
price is, so
We-
it's
don't
set.
they have a live website, can't we?
Yeah,
Oh, you're a big.
You're the finance, I see it goes. I haven't seen one of those sheets in a while, so. I think they put something about it.
So last year, the price of diesel was around 180.
I
Do you know?
don't know, I don't buy
Do
diesel.
the
so-
fuel charge.
Yeah, I don't wanna just pull numbers.
Didn't do a fuel charge. Yeah, sorry, did we?
No, oh, yeah, no, we did not do. But yeah.
Like, I don't know where to go.
Yes.
The other thing. It's gonna make more meetings stupid.
I mean, even if you called it the $1.70. We got $1.65.
So it's gotta be over $2. I mean, I fueled up and it was $1.66 for gas.
Diesel's been over $2 at your pump. For a month now.
Oh, yeah, like I said, I don't buy diesel.
And then just take out your zero after the decimal,
Yeah, I don't know.
It would wreck my little trucks.
like that. And then it'll be one,
Yes, it is. It's 20 cents. That's 20 cents.
No, that's 0.2 cents. That's what you write,
That's not a percent, it's a cents.
but say.
If you put a dollar sign in front of it, it becomes 20 cents.
Yeah.
that's it.
That's it,
And then take out the cent.
and it's like the same time.
And then it'll be 160 loading factor.
All be around 160.
That $1.60 loading factor, yeah.
And then the rest. I can't find the current today's UFA price without logging.
I'm
in.
just
not
getting
looking
it here,
at
Jocelyn sending me the rate sheet.
Okay,
And it's $120 per day fuel charge you working.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you're trying to see what better. What's below something you're not paying, right? If we go-
Yeah, so, yeah, if you set it to whatever it is. Whatever you decide,
180.
if miraculously it drops below,
That's where it was
Yes,
this
that's
early this year.
so that way we're still being responsible for public dollars, so.
Mark diesel.
No, it's gonna be. Not marked.
Yeah,
So
no,
I-
clearly, yeah.
There.
Currently 182.09.
UFA.
That's good, yeah.
Okay.
So much.
I don't know.
No, 14. Weeks.
What's council's thoughts? What was our trigger point the last time we did this?
Was about the same. Cause we did it on a sliding scale last time, which
Okay.
do not recommend.
No.
So it would have started, it had that from 140 all the way up to
Yeah.
170 plus.
Yeah.
I think unfortunately fuel's not gonna go anywhere, so. I'm kind of leaning more towards the higher end of the scale, like maybe a. 195. Yeah, a 190, a 180. I don't foresee it dropping anytime soon unless we're gonna stop wars and cause out peace anytime. Yeah. Yeah,
So the price I have today, $1.72 then.
Dollar.
Sorry, $1.82.
Yeah. Which is convenient, but you know, Diesel clear.
I mean-
182.
Yeah, it's,
We're one of the highest in Alberta on those prices. That's pretty sweet, you know.
yeah, I don't know, I'm thinking like 185, something like that, I don't know. I don't know, what's everybody's thoughts here? We're a pretty quiet table.
Well, I'm thinking, I have no idea. You want me to know?
I mean, yeah, I think this current sliding scale on our report, like we can't start it at. I think even 160 is ridiculous.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's a good thing to just have a one rate,
Yes.
At a certain point.
Absolutely.
do that, because the sliding scale. Well, nice in some instances for some things, it's for us administratively. It's especially on a gravel bump.
And I
it's
mean-
terrible.
I mean, we didn't touch their ton per kilometer, but we gave them 10 more cents on the loading factor too, right? Without. I don't know, I would like to see it like maybe 190, that's, I mean,
Yeah, I go with.
nobody else is speaking up, so I'm just gonna throw it out there, that's where I'm thinking, let's start the auction at 190.
We'll start there.
I mean, the only good thing about it is we're gonna hear about it if we didn't get it right. I know, I mean, it's tough, right? Like, I don't think it's going anywhere though, so. I don't know that we can afford to pay it out. This keeps us responsible and still under budget and. Okay, I'm prepared to be the bad guy and make a motion that we set the gravel haul rates at 20 cents. Ton kilometer, $1.60 loading factor, $120 a day fuel charge when it hits the trigger point of $1.90 per liter. I mean, it's probably assumed, do we need to put, diesel? To clarify, it's probably assumed, right?
Let's just put it in there.
Right, so clear, or what do they call it, unmarked, clear, what's the terminology? My girl side is showing. Clear. Clear.
But I should
Or just diesel,
maybe add in there too, that it's what the county gets at the UFA rates. They're not what the county gets. It's the
based on the UFA,
rates
price.
received by the county.
okay, Are we
Just so it's
are we
very
okay with
clear.
just calling it diesel, do you want me to, that's good? $120 a day, or $120 per day diesel charge went over 190 per liter rate based on. UFA rates obtained
For county, do we have to say UFA or?
Yeah, well, that's the only.
based
rate
on
we get.
UFA confirmed rates, I don't know, how do you wanna? What's most clear when they're gonna read it, I don't know,
So then, like, at $1.82 today,
that
Then-
surcharge is not kicking in.
I think that could be problematic.
Okay.
It will be problematic. If it stays the same, they won't let,
Are people charging fuel charges now?
Yes.
They are.
Okay, can we hold the conversation for just one sec? Just so we can get the wording right and then we can debate it, but, so based on county UFA confirmed rates, how do you wanna say that?
I think that's good enough.
Okay,
I think you have to.
sorry, I just wanna do one issue at a time.
I think you have to say ton kilometer, not ton factor.
That's right.
Okay, sorry, Brent, your comment?
yeah, just, so if it's less than $1.90, there's no,
Search,
fuel charge.
yeah, so what would you think would be a fair number then? I mean, I'm open to change it, I just, we didn't have a number, so that's what was my number.
Well, I think where we had it, where,
Was 185, 182.
yeah, 182.
Sure, I'll give it that.
That's the rest of council thing? I mean, we all have to own this, so.
I'm okay with that.
In the back of my mind, I was wondering, do you hit 180 to keep it simple, but I agree. Let's-
Well, it's at 182 now, so let's just.
Okay, wanna do 182 or 180? 182? 182, everybody's happy with that?
180.
Oh, I am not an auctioneer. 180.
It can be whatever.
Okay, I will update my motion to read 180. Getting it.
If we don't have it right, we will.
We'll hear.
I'll hear.
Okay. So I have the motion on the floor as the screen reads. Last call. Questions, comments, consideration? Otherwise, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, we'll move down to item 8, which is the info package. There were a few additions. Any questions or comments coming out of the info package? Otherwise, I will look for a motion to accept. Okay, Councillor Reeves. All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, we'll go to open mic. Dan, any questions?
So it's not really a numbers, coming back. So I was just wondering, what option you didn't choose any of the options, or is it different?
We did a combination.
Yeah.
You did a combination, but it'll be in the motion.
It will be, yep, or I could read it slower to you, whatever works.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
And I was just wondering, about the, in the audited financial statement, in the reports, with the uncertainty of the ongoing legal dispute, that's the South Regional Water Line that you were referring to?
And so there's some detail in the notes, the statements that, sure, I can get you, usually we fan out copies once they're adopted, which there will be now, so there will just be one more change in that. The reserve balances, just as we have allocated that with our motion, and then it'll be fine. So,
Okay, and if I have any other further questions, can I send them? And for the void alert, is that the same as the town of Peace River and the town of Valley? Basically, is that the same system anymore?
Okay, I believe so. Yes. Confirmed. By another.
Do you have a contact for the Andy Van committee? You do. I was thinking maybe that's a future story I could use, maybe. And I was just curious, is that field person or field man, whatever you wish? Is that Tegan Scott? Is she from Grimshaw? Is that the scale? That's the same person. Yeah, right. Very interesting. All right, thanks very much.
Okay. Yeah. Bill, Jen,
Oh, come on.
softballs only, please.
Or number one, for your REM or RMA breakout session. Please put this on there because apparently I get a disconnect. Why and how do councils have to listen to and communicate with their ratepayers? I've been coming here for 3 months, 4 months, and I've never heard you guys mention the ratepayers meeting. You talk about all these other things. You go to all these other meetings and talk to other people about how you should run our MD. Why won't you talk to the people? You do everything backwards. I'll get to this one with the truckers. You guys make decisions, even with your financial statement and budget. After you pass it, then you just come and tell us this is what we did, as opposed to getting input up front. With that alert system, total waste of time. Absolute gonna be a total waste of time, I can tell you that right now. I am sick and tired of being treated like an idiot. When I read the newspaper and I listen to the radio and look at the TV, I get reports like, it's cold outside today, you need to wear a coat. Or, it's snowing last night, the roads are slippery. Or, the latest one in the paper, it's springtime, the snow is melting, there's going to be runoff. I know that, I've seen it every freaking year and I'm sick and tired of people just talking to the idiots. And like I said, you guys keep talking about, we gotta look after our money and we're trying to be fair. You guys are looking for parasites to give money away that is totally unnecessary. And then this thing with the truckers is absolutely mind-blowing. In the policy you just passed, it says, we're trying to be fair, things have to be given to people in the community that help the community. Graveling our roads is probably the one of the most important things, and you're saying, well, it's in the budget, that's all we can spend. I understand what you did with the money. You're setting the price at $1.82 because that's what the county pays. You gotta remember, almost none of the truckers can buy fuel at that price because you guys get a preferential price. Most of them are going to be paying 10 to 20 cents a liter more. So unless you're willing to let every trucker fill up at your pumps and they deduct the money, that is just an absolute no-go. I pay $1.20 or $2.12 for the last diesel fuel I just bought. So how come I have to pay that huge price and the thing doesn't kick in until it gets to $1.82? And I'm paying that huge difference. That just absolutely blows my mind. And I'm still saying, when are we going to have a ratepayers meeting? When are you going to come and ask us what we want you to do and where we want you to spend our money and where we don't want you to spend money to the parasites?
Heard. Jim?
No, I'm playing.
Come on.
No, I'll say,
No, you guys, aren't you at least happy we didn't raise the mill rate? That's something.
I'm absolutely amazed that you didn't raise the mill rate after the last meeting when it was suggested. And yes, I'm amazed, I'm glad, but I would have loved to see you guys cut a whole bunch of spending because there's lots of money just flowing out of this MD for no reason. It is not according to your policy.
All right. Okay, we'll take just a 5-minute break. We don't have any decisions on delegations, so their goal was just for information. So we'll take a quick 5-minute break, reset, and then we'll go into meeting. Okay?